Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 359 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gamer podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Mr. Mass Effect himself, Daffin Moody.
Howdy doodly doo, ladies and gentlemen, and all the amazing other people out there. It's Friday, you know what that means. It's video game day, and we're going to talk about some video games. Literally, we're going to review 3 games.
You sounded like the tone of like how you delivered that. It sounded like there's like overexcited DJs on the radio when they're like they're on the radio, but they're also in a club.
Yeah.
It's a very specific reference, but
pretty much you run out of breath when you talk.
Yeah. It's like you talk until you've run out of breath, and then you keep talking,
and just start dying. Yeah. Eventually, I'll just keel over.
And you should try next week's intro. You should try to go with the tone of horse racing commentator. It's Friday, you know what that means? It's time to talk about video games.
Somehow he's in the lead now. No. He's not juggling along. That's insane. When I used to watch it, like just like for the Grand National or something like that, I was just like, what did he say? Huh? Is that English? Is that something over there? Is that a new language?
It's like on YouTube and stuff where you can put the speed up. Like you need that option, but turning down.
Like watch it, turn him down, or slow him down at least.
Watch it at half speed and be like, oh, I understand this now.
It's like listening to a Scouser. They are very hard to understand when they just speak regularly, but their regularly is like really fast.
Oh, yeah. Like, I wonder, like, because the Grand National is a live event, right? It can't have subtitles, right?
I think the subtitle would break.
Imagine how fast you'd have to type.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch horse racing. I don't particularly like it because I like horses, but I'm tempted to watch the next Grand National now just to turn the subtitles on and just to see what happens. Like, if someone manages to subtitle the commentary, like, even with, like, spelling errors and stuff, if they manage to get it, I'll just be like, okay, I respect. Whatever you're paying that person, you're not paying them enough.
Yeah, because they're going to need new fingers now. Basically, after they finish, they're literally putting their hand in an ice bucket.
Yeah, basically.
to cool their fingers down, but yeah.
So, Moody, how the devil are you?
I'm all right. I'm hunky-dory. Partner at work, partner on at home. Pretty decent.
Excellent. That's really good. I'm really glad.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm a bit tired.
Good. I know.
I had a rough night's sleep last night. Like,
was it not for Mass Effect, not for over and over again.
No, that was funny.
I kept fucking up.
It was funny that because obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm making a Mass Effect. I'm making a Mass Effect video, so I've played and replayed the game quite a bit. And I made a joke about it while you were streaming in Twitch chat, or I did the line.
A few jokes.
Yeah, I made the one joke I made, like, where I was only going to make the one joke where it was like, oh god, they're still alive. What did the Geth do to them? And I put that in the Twitch chat, and it was funny, and we moved on, and then we moved on with our lives. And then you literally started it again. Like, you went back to a checkpoint, the save file that was before that moment, so it happened again.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm going full anal on this one. I've literally went on Mass Effect Wiki, and I'm following it to the T to get all the power gun points. I'm going full Navi on this. I'm going full blue.
When I was
playing... I was starting it again. Sorry, but
no, that's fine.
I was literally just starting it again. And I've just got to the Citadel.
You started it again.
Yeah, because I'm going full blue. I'm going full blue.
Don't go full blue. Full blue's boring, man. Roleplay that shit.
No, I'm going full blue. I want to go full blue. That's my roleplay in this. This is my role-playing episode.
Roleplay.
It's full blue. I'm going full blue. Yeah, I didn't punch that sign.
I mean, to be fair, neither do I normally.
Gives you 9 renegade points. 9.
I can't believe how easily manipulated you were. Oh no, Amy, I'm going to be a paragon this time. Punch the guy. I'm going to punch the guy.
Punch the guy. Remember to kill Ashley. Wait, what? I'm not going to kill Kitten. Boo. Fine, I'll kill Ashley. Fine, Jesus.
Look, man, they both suck, right? You're
I know
choosing
they
between
do.
you're choosing between the lesser of two evils, literally. But yeah, no. One thing I was using, and I don't know if I'll try and find the link. When I was playing it through, the first time, someone made a guide. It's a very specific guide where it tells you all of the quests and all of the side quests. But what it tells you is who are the best 2 characters to bring for the extra dialogue that they have.
Yeah.
I was using that because I was like, okay, this is a good guide. Like for someone who's like trying to like capture the footage for everything, I was like, cool. And it was quite surprising. Like.
Send me that link.
Some of the options were quite surprising. Like it's like, oh, on this mission you should take James, and I was like, really? And then I took him because I was like, I'm going to trust the guide. And then I was like, oh yeah, I should have taken James. That was great.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, you're right. We should have taken you.
So sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, maybe I can't just take Rex everywhere.
Literally, you can't take him to at least one place if you want to get those Paragon points.
Literally, because because of that, and also because he's not bloody squad now. After the first one, Rex got done dirty.
You done dirty.
Done dirty, but you know what? When you get through Mass Effect 3 and you do all the stuff, it's worth it.
The thing is, though, you're doing it again just so you can kill him a second time.
I've got to kill everybody.
I know. That ain't that hard, that though.
It's not like I said to you last night. Technically, it's not hard. No, you've just got to make terrible choices. Emotionally,
yeah,
it's very difficult. You have to kill some people twice.
I know.
Because thanks to Mass Effect 2's suicide mission where anyone can die, it's like, okay, I gotta kill everyone in this mission, but then I've got to make sure I kill everybody in their specific scenes as well. So you start killing people. Like, I'm sure I've watched you die like 3 times now.
Yeah. Imagine how Joker feels at the end of that game. He's all by himself. Nothing but coffins around him.
On the worst possible.
And the Reapers are attacking.
On the worst possible Mass Effect 2 player through.
Yeah. Oh, he looks defiant. He's got Edie on his side, ready to go.
Yeah, but I mean, they're fucked.
You know that
he
went, Edie, let's just get married and run off. Run away, okay?
Where the fuck can we go that has no Reapers?
Dark space, because they just left it.
I mean, space is pretty big.
It is. Andromeda told us that.
Yeah, like if you just picked a direction and flew into dark space, like the chances of running into the Reapers is like 0.00001%. But yeah, no, I appreciated your stream last night. I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna stream tomorrow before you stream.
Please, okay. You better bloody finish.
I will, don't worry about it.
I
finish work at 2:30.
Like,
I'll be streaming about 3:30.
Like, fucking, if I turn up on Twitch and I'm like, hey, I'm finally back, everybody, and it's like Moody streaming, I'm literally gonna fucking, I don't know.
Go on Microsoft Flight Simulator and fly down to Smash.
I'm gonna delete the Twitch channel and start a new one. Mid-stream, it's like, are you sure you want to delete? And I'll be like, yep.
Yep, I do.
Yes, I do. Hey, tell you. What brought it on, if I may ask? Because you just sent me a message. I was asleep. I was having a nap. And I woke up.
Normally you text me back. I was thinking it's either, if she hasn't texted me back straight away, she's either working or she's asleep.
And I woke up and I looked at my phone and it was like, I need the Twitch stuff.
Give me your details.
And I was like,
no.
And I was like, wait, what?
I need your social security.
We don't have that. We're not American.
Yeah, we have that. Yeah.
We have national insurance numbers. I've used that like
with letters.
three
With
times
letters.
3 times in my entire life, and they told me
Yeah.
things like it's like that permanent record that they have, the folder in school, and they're like, this is gonna follow you around for the rest of your life. It's in the loft. It's been in the loft since the last day of high school, and I've never had to use it.
I know my number.
Yeah.
I don't know where my card is.
No, God, no. Like, I know what my number is, but like, if someone was like, "We need to see your national insurance card," I would be like, "So do I," because I haven't seen it for like 20 years. So if you can
And you're not
find
allowed
it,
to-
you let me know where it is.
And I don't think you can get another one.
I don't know. I've never looked into it. It's never really been important.
That's true. Yeah, that's
Like, national insurance number is just one of those things where it's like I've never needed it, and I'm pretty sure it's on my pay slip. So
true. Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
yeah.
So just keep one of those handy and just say it's these digits. Just ignore everything
No.
else on this paper. It's this.
No, I can't keep my pay slips handy because if I ever catch a glimpse of them, it's just too depressing.
What isn't depressing though is these brand new displays.
Yeah.
Emergency induction port and your name with an alien in front of it right now. It's kind of disrupting the vibe right now. But either way,
Got some vibe
may have
issues
to-
going on there.
I may have to move the alien somewhere. You won't like that.
No, don't get too close. Don't let it spit on you. Are you going to tell them how I found out you had new displays?
I sent you videos.
You did. You sent me videos.
On it like
and
cocaine.
they started off perfectly normal, and then you start sniffing your posters. And I was like, you can tell we make YouTube videos because only people who make videos could think of something like this.
But it wasn't for YouTube. It was just for you.
No, it's just that's how it gets into your brain, man.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, it's like
true.
You just went, and you did it. You did it to do like the new display smell. And then I pointed it out. I was like, I sent you a message back saying, "Oh, I can't wait for someone to ask me what I did today." Oh, I watched Moody sniff posters.
He sniffed Mel.
He sniffed his new posters. No, I've had a good day today.
Good.
I ordered some new board games for
I saw,
playing the old board games. I ordered 3, and then one of them got cancelled, and it was very confusing because the way they worded the cancellation was they cancelled the whole order because they couldn't find one board game, and then I got an email a little bit later saying we've dispatched your order. Mm-hmm. So I was happy with that because they didn't cancel the one I really wanted.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That's good.
And I'm looking forward to playing those in a couple of weeks. But like this was
That's
all
awesome.
unfolding while I was at the beach.
The beach today. Wow.
I went out with my friend. We went fish and chips.
Ooh.
Seaside fish and chips.
Oh, they're the best.
And then we had to wander up the beach. And the tide had like just pulled out. So it was like sand and then seaweed. Like just seaweed everywhere.
Yeah, we haven't got the greatest beaches.
No, they're terrible. But
Yeah.
they're ours. But then we went to
But they're ours, so that means they're special.
then we went to hold on, I just remembered I have a thing for this. Because then we went to a different beach where there's an ice cream place that's really good. And we got ice cream, and then we walked up to the amusements. There was some amusements just up the road,
Nice.
and we got really into the 2p machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it had 2 slots, so we were 2-player.
Ganging up on it.
We were ganging up on it because there was this rubber duck that was just teetering over the edge, and we were like, we have to get this. It's right there.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, and like as we were doing it, we figured out a hack to it where it's like if you just rapid fire the 2Ps, like you'll start getting fucking shitloads falling out. So, but it was spitting out tickets the entire time. So like we spent like probably about £3 on this machine. Because when we were finished, we were like, well, what am I going to do with this pile of 2Ps? So we just threw them in until we ran out. And like we spent like more than that on like all of the other things, and we got more tickets from this one machine than everything else combined. So then it was like, but then it cuts to that awkward point where it's like, okay, well, what the fuck do we get from the prize thing? Because we don't really want any of this shit. So I got a Fortnite keyring.
Of course you did.
Because it's like, you've got Fortnite keyrings. I guess I'll have a Fortnite keyring.
Of course you did.
And one of those traffic light lollies, you remember those? They change colour.
Oh, God.
And a Captain America bubble gun.
They never sell good shit there, so...
No, you just get the funny stuff, right?
Yeah,
you get some sweets, and then you get the funniest stuff. To be honest, the best thing we got was the duck.
Yeah.
It was weird, though.
Hell.
Like, tons of the machines, right? Like, because, you know, it's just prizes on top of 2Ps.
Yeah.
And tons of the, like, so many machines were just full of cans of Prime. Like, it was like, why the fuck would I want a can of Prime that's been sat in this machine for God knows how long? Oh. And then there was lots of Fortnite match.
Oh, I bet there was.
Oh, yeah. Played this weird arcade game. It was one of those where you sit down and you've got the mounted gun thing. But it fired actual water at the screen. So that was like...
Yeah.
And then, like, partway through, there was steam started coming up out of it. It was a very, very immersive experience.
Cool.
Yeah. But that was a fun day.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. That's great.
I did. Do you know the only thing that would have made it better?
What?
Is if you'd have been there too.
Aww.
Yeah.
Small bullshit.
No, but I would like to go.
Sarcasm sign. Sarcasm?
I would. No, it's true. It would have been awkward because you didn't know the person I went with. But it would be fun to go to an amusement with you. And then you could get your own.
I agree.
You could get your own Fortnite keyring.
We were kind of close to one when we were at the.
We
Manchester.
did, yeah, but then we went for food instead.
Yeah.
Right, we'll put that on the list next time.
Yeah.
We have
next
to go
time,
to the arcade.
Film, arcade. Then maybe food. Maybe.
I love it.
We haven't had two greatest of times there, food-wise.
No, I thought the one we went to.
It was all right.
It was pretty good. We were just trying a place.
It was all right, but I'd still like to come out and say I would go back there.
Okay.
I haven't had that yet. But
yeah, no, it's something that's really satisfying as well as when you put the pound coin into the machine that gives you all the 2Ps, and they just start going ching 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 ching.
Because you're thinking, I've got all the money.
No, it's kind of satisfying to just listen to and watch. I don't know, it's weird. My brain's weird though. Like the second I walk into an arcade, like I get so overstimulated and overexcited because of all the colors and the noises.
Cool.
I think they're just built to attack my particular brain chemistry.
Probably. There's no doubt. There is that chance.
There is that chance. Oh, shit, I need to be ready for this because I'm up first.
Well, I can go first if you want, and then you go in the middle.
Nah, that's good. I got this.
Because I've got two games. So.
Yeah, but you know what I've got, Moody? Final Fantasy XVI. I totally didn't finish it.
It's what I hear. It's the best game out there right now.
For a lot of people,
long for Zelda to be the afterthought.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. Like, as much as people are talking about how much they love it, I don't think you're going to see it beat Zelda from any Game of the Year things.
I think I'm going to see anything beat Zelda for Game of the Year this year.
No. I saw Metacritic and it did their thing because they always do that thing halfway through the year. Where they're like, here's the top highest rated games of the year so far. And it was like, okay, so it's Zelda. But like everything below that is kind of interesting. But like obviously number one is Zelda because Zelda came out. Like mate, I'm sitting here going, oh, no one's gonna be, and even I'm sitting here going, I mean, if Game of the Year was today, like it's Zelda. Even for me, it's Zelda.
Even for you, wow.
Yeah. Right now.
We didn't do it. We didn't. Yeah, that's
we didn't rank it last week.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, like right now as it stands. However, I am playing a game right now that I'm enjoying quite a bit. So.
Was it a game that I got
a game
out of
that
the
you-
spur of nowhere that you were somehow realigned
Yeah.
at the exact same time from different
did, yeah.
directions and somehow landed
So
at point A?
So I know I've had. So right, here's what it is. Right, I know we've re-enabled Steam sharing because of whatever went wrong for like 4 days now. I've played this game for 10 hours, but I didn't play it today. And I didn't play it yesterday.
Yeah, but you're out.
What I'm saying is, those 10 hours are in like a very short span of time. Like
You did 10 hours straight away.
It's one of those games where you sit there and you're like, yeah. Da, 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 and you're like vibing to the music. Da, 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 da. I don't remember what the music is, so that's not the music. And then you're like, you get to the end of the day and you go, well, maybe I'll just call it quits there. And then like you get a phone call and you're like, okay, I'll go and do that thing. And then you do a whole other day. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like, okay, maybe I'll call it quits there. And then you're like, oh, and I can upgrade all this stuff. And then you play another day.
You're not on about that game though, Amy.
But I'm not, no.
Not today. Not yet.
Today.
You're on about Final Fantasy 16.
I am on about Final Fantasy 16, and I did the thing. This is the first time since we've switched over reviews to written, like to a written thing with a discussion. This is the first time since we've done that I've done one.
So let's do a quick little thing for myself here to begin with for you. So Final Fantasy 16, obviously, as everyone knows, is a Square Enix game. It was released June 22nd of 2023 and is exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Sorry, Xbox people and PC people right now. On OpenCritic, it has a top critic average of an 89 and a critic recommendation of 93%. Some critics like IGN 9 out of 10, Easy Allies 9 out of 10, Games Radar Plus 4.5 out of 5, Game Informer 8.8 out of 8.5 out of 10, GameSpot 9, Destruction 9. But Eurogamer gave it a 3 out of 5, and Metro Game Central a 6 out of 10. So Amy, I'm hearing this is a great game, but I'm also hearing it's very mixed, because if you listen to Steph Sterling's video, they are very mixed on this game. If you hear Skill Up's video, it didn't click for him one bit. There were parts he did enjoy, but overall, he would not recommend it.
I look forward to listening to his review of the game.
Where are you landing, Amy?
So I've written my thing. Final Fantasy 16 is the latest mainline Final Fantasy sequel, taking place in a full fantasy setting and eschewing the series' RPG roots in favor of becoming a pure action game. Players take on the role of Clive, the first Shield of Rosaria, who must navigate a world on the brink of extinction. Like all Final Fantasies. That's why it's called Final Fantasy. I'm going to start this review by saying I've played about 25 hours of Final Fantasy 16. That's probably an important point to make up front because A, it lets whoever is listening to this know that the words that follow are about a game I haven't completed, and B, it's the point I've officially tapped out. And I just want to preface this with I haven't written a game review in a while, so like even I'm looking at this going, it's not the greatest thing I've ever written, but anyway. One word's been on my mind more than any other while I've played this game. Balance. Not mechanical balance. FF16's difficulty is something I've got no issue with, but it's probably one of the only parts of the game I could say that, aside from the phenomenal score by Masayoshi Soken. FF16's lack of balance in other key areas has exhausted me to the point I've realised that playing has begun to feel like an obligation rather than an indulgence. FF16 has thrown off the shackles of the RPG genre and leaned completely into the realm of character action game, more Bayonetta or Devil May Cry and less, well, Final Fantasy. That's not automatically a negative. In fact, FF16's combat is probably its greatest strength. It's slick, fluid, and tremendously satisfying, but it's stretched too thin. Where a traditional character action game runs around 10 to 15 hours, FF16 runs far longer. Eventually, the feeling of satisfaction gives way to a feeling of repetition. This elongated runtime eventually makes combat feel like a chore outside of the excellent boss fights and the icon fights, both of which are consistently the standout moments of Final Fantasy XVI. Whenever I was about to throw myself into a boss encounter or one of the game's absurdly over-the-top in the best way icon battles, I was genuinely excited. Unfortunately, you spend most of your time plowing through groups of basic enemies who can barely scratch you, and mini-bosses that keep repeating themselves, repeating the same steps to defeat them dozens of times over. It's a lot harder to get excited over fighting your 30th group of scorpions. When I was given a chocobo, I questioned its usefulness in a game mostly consisting of small, easily traversable areas. I quickly realized its purpose was to easily run past mobs of enemies in the world. It's a shame I couldn't bring it into the dungeon. New abilities, which could have gone some way to alleviate the feeling of grinding that takes hold, are unfortunately unlocked at a glacial pace, likely owing to the game's length. Fighting in Final Fantasy XVI is great until you've done it too many times and then you slowly become numb to it. But it's the story that ultimately did me in the end. That was a terror. I just realized I wrote a bad sentence there. And it's the story that ultimately did me in, however, in the end. Somewhere in this game, there's probably a great narrative, but whatever story FF16 is trying to tell, the game has a storytelling problem. Given that the game features more cutscenes than gameplay, this is a pretty substantial issue. Every now and again, there would be a cutscene or story beat that would give me hope that maybe, finally, FF16 was about to get going. But those hopes were quickly dashed by the next few hours of shallow themes, tired tropes, and god-awful pacing. For 25 hours, I kept chasing these glimmers of hope, but FF16 feels like a deeply confused game. The amount of depth in the game's world building and lore is impressive, but the story doesn't know what it wants to be about, save for slavery is bad, and wouldn't it be bad if literally 99% of people were bigoted arseholes? Which, yeah, that would be quite bad. This is a dour, depressing world to exist in. Protagonist Clive is a bearer, a group that are treated like shit at best and as slaves at worst. Either way, you're going to experience a great deal of bigotry aimed at you, and since just about everyone in the world is a bigot, it's going to be pretty relentless. And there's nothing that really punches this oppressiveness. The story seems to be about making a better world, but doesn't seem to give much consideration to how this will be achieved. Again, most everyone is in agreement that bearers deserve the treatment they get, so how do you even go about changing that? And when this narrative starts to give way to a world-ending catastrophe in the form of a climate change metaphor about as unsubtle as a metaphor can get, the question I had to ask myself was, who cares? I've been shown nothing in this world worth saving, save for a precious few supporting characters. Maybe a stronger set of side quests could have fleshed out the world and characters better, but since they're quite possibly the most tedious side quests I've played ever, I doubt I'll find out. They're also pointless, with rewards tied to a gear system that is entirely superfluous. Maybe I'll return to FF16 to see how this all plays out, and maybe not. There are flashes of brilliance here and there, but buried beneath hours of tedium that slowly weighed me down until I could scarcely take another step through its dreary, depressing world. 89 on OpenCritic. 3 out of 5. 3 stars.
3 out of 5. So it got an above average rating from you overall, even though it was very mixed for you overall.
Not bang average, right?
Yeah.
That's our middle rating.
Basically, yeah. It was okay.
Like, the boss fights were good and really enjoyable. Like, every time I got to a boss fight, it was like getting a renewed sense of energy, right?
Yeah.
And the icon fights, like the first one that you do, like those are the fights with like where the summons are fighting.
The kaiju battles.
Yeah, the kaiju battles. The first one you do isn't great. The second one you do is, quite frankly, probably one of the best boss fights in Final Fantasy ever.
Wow. So it literally went from shit to
holy shit.
Greatness.
Shit to holy shit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But like, yeah, you have to wade through so many fucking shit fights.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But do you have any questions other than why would you do this? Why can't you ever just agree with critics, Amy?
Jesus, I would never tell you to do that at all. Like, I'm shocked that you're right now. You said Zelda's your favorite game so far this year. Jesus.
Zelda has something. Yeah. Zelda has something that Final Fantasy XVI doesn't have, and
what's that?
A world I actually want to fucking play.
I'll say it this way.
So I haven't seen any other reviews or anything like that.
Yeah. What I said was the first thing you've ever heard in everything for like
I know the general sentiment. I've seen tweets and skeets, and I've seen a couple of review summaries and stuff, but I haven't read or watched anyone's reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like for me, I have no interest in this game whatsoever. The trailers have never sold me, apart from the kaiju battle part, which that one element's not gonna make me go out.
I think so. I did,
go out and do this.
including in the tutorial. I think I did 3 in 25 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sucky. The world never looked like it was really of anywhere you would really want to be in.
No.
Going off your review, it sounds like
It's
it isn't.
not. It's fucking not, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you play. You know when you play a video game and like it doesn't, like Deus Ex: Human Revolution had this problem where literally every single thing in the world was about the plot of the game.
Yeah.
That's what Final Fantasy 16 is. Now, the issue there is the plot of the game largely centers around slavery. So everyone treats you like a piece of shit. Like, from the characters that you interact with and speak to you, to quest givers, like you're doing someone a favor and they're still treating you like shit. To like, you just walk past like some people and they just like, and it's like incidental, random babble dialogue, which is just like, oh, get away from me. And it's just like, my fucking God, man. Like, can we have a break?
Yeah, just a teeny little break.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm so tired. Stop.
Yeah. Because like the thing is about it, it's like we play video games obviously because we enjoy them, but obviously to lose ourselves and to enjoy a brand new world that's nothing that we really feel or get in the world we're already living in.
Sure.
You've walked into basically what I'm hearing from people who I listen to is literally you're playing a game where you are nothing but bigoted against.
I just walked in
the entire of.
I basically just fucking started playing a game that was like Facebook suddenly came to life in front of me. Like
You basically played a social media game.
I basically yeah.
That's
It's
what
just
it sounds like.
I appreciate what they're trying to do in the story, but like the way it just hits you in the face and there's constant and like it's like like. Yeah. I can play a game as you know, Moody, because we've talked about all like most of the games that I've played in the last few years. Like I can play a game that's about hard things, right? But like the way Final Fantasy 16 decides to present its world and tell its story was just a hard pass for me.
So what I can tell, and I'm only going off what I've read and listened to, basically the developers of this game basically were like, Game of Thrones pretty popular right now. I think we can market that. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. We can do Game of Thrones, Final Fantasy style, and everything like that.
Now Game of Thrones has
go on. Sorry.
Game of Thrones has something Final Fantasy 16 doesn't have: multiple protagonists. Like
but the thing is about Game of Thrones, though, Game of Thrones hit a massive high, but also for a lot of people hit a low. Mm-hmm. And even though it has come back thanks to House of Dragon, see how long that lasts. Hopefully it'll continue because I am enjoying it. But it's still not hitting the high of highs, I think, overall what Game of Thrones hit at. So they've released the game literally after the downfall of Game of Thrones, which people, it's just one of those things at the end of the day.
The problem with Final Fantasy 16 storytelling for me is obviously the pacing is horrific. And it doesn't seem to know what story it wants to tell. It's trying to tell a few different stories, which most games do. Most games of this length tell multiple stories. Final Fantasy VII tells multiple stories, but it doesn't know how to balance them. So like you'll get to the end of the first act, and you go down to a place, and something happens that makes you sort of reveals more of like what the story is actually about. Like, holy shit, this is about fucking, oh cool, like we're getting some final revelations on some stuff I saw like 10 hours ago. And then you think, cool, this is it, this is where it's gonna kick off. And then you spend the next like fucking, I think 10 hours or so like doing the other stuff and completely ignoring the thing that happened at the end of the first act until someone eventually goes, hey, you remember the main plot? Maybe we should do the main plot for a bit. And then I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, so this is not how you tell a story.
So literally that means they've literally took elements of Game of Thrones and elements of an Ubisoft game where they make Ubisoft games make themselves so fucking big, where you have to go everywhere and everywhere if you want to have a really long, in-depth time with itself, but the plot completely gets forgotten about.
No, this is the thing. This is just the main quest. So when I made a reference in the written piece to the side quest, I did the first 3 side quests that you get. They were fucking god awful. And then when I got to the next part where there was side quests, some guy asked me to fucking go and get some dirt or something. And I just went, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, the first side quest I did was this guy in an inn, and he was like, hey, can you give some food to 3 people? And I was like, okay. And I did it. And then that was it. And I got fuck all for it because you get gold for it, right? Great. Yeah, I can't spend the fucking gold on anything. Like, there's gear slots, sure, and there's gear to go in them, sure, but like the gear that you get for playing through the main story is always stronger than whatever you can buy. So there's no point in buying it. You can't upgrade the stuff that you're given. You just end up getting a new sword. So I don't even know why those fucking things are in there. So there's no point in doing the damn side quests. If they were interesting in their own right. Like when I was over-leveled for side quests in The Witcher 3, for example, I still did the side quests because the side quests were cool in their own right. Final Fantasy 16 side quests are the other... Like, Final Fantasy 16 side quests are the equivalent, really. If I was sat on your couch right now and said, Mooney, can you get us a glass of water? And that's a side quest. And you get me the glass of water and I go, cheers.
Yeah, that's how I would have handled it too.
Yeah.
But no, that was crap. That was terrible. That was abomination. That was lazy.
It's just bad storytelling. And like they've tried to go down this character action route where Clive is the protagonist. He's the only character. And like I didn't mind the fact that there wasn't like a party in this game. I'm up for Final Fantasy trying new stuff. You know what I mean? Like definitely go for it. But like the way the story unfolds in terms of the powers that you get, I'll just say that anyone who's played it knows what I'm talking about. Like, would have really benefited if those powers had been spread across, I don't know, a party of characters. If Clive had people to talk to, if some of the narrative weight could have been shared by other characters, like. Any of these things would have helped. Like, I'm not even like the combat's great. I don't even miss the party in combat. Weirdly enough, it's the story that suffers from Clive not having a party. And also, it's way too long. It's fucking. There's a reason Bayonetta and Devil May Cry are like 10 to 15 hours long, and it's because if they were any longer, you'd start feeling like, "Ooh, this is getting a bit repetitive." And that's because it does. It does get repetitive.
It feels fucking repetitive. Well, that really sucks. That is disappointing and everything. What are your overall final thoughts before we hop on to the next one?
It's a lot of people like this, so this is just my opinion, and obviously, you know, a lot of people are going to disagree with that opinion, and fair play. Like I talked to Vitz. Vitz is talking, like we've been talking about it. He loves it, and that's awesome. So, like, for me, it's just. I can't take the storytelling. It just drives me to the point of despair. Because it wouldn't piss me off so much. Like it's the reason I got pissed off at Game of Thrones is because I was enjoying it a lot right up until the point where I wasn't. And that's what annoyed me. With Final Fantasy 16, there's characters in here that are fucking great. There are moments in the story that are fucking great. But then you get back to like trudging through for hours of just like, what the fuck, man? And then like that's what pisses me off because I'm like, I know this game's story could be great.
Yeah.
But it's choosing not to be.
That's disappointing.
And that's what eventually just made me just. I was looking at the PlayStation controller and I just went nah. And I put YouTube on instead. I was just thinking, no, I can't.
No, that's fair. And anyone who likes this game, shout out to you. We are so happy that you are enjoying this game.
Definitely.
Because, we do not want to be talking crap about a game or anything like that, or Amy doesn't want to be, because obviously she's the one who reviewed it and everything, and I have no interest in playing it. Sadly for the Final Fantasy games are just not hitting it for me. Like, I prefer the old school ones of like what I grew up with and everything. Didn't click with 15. But I know, like one of our friends of ours, it was one of his first Final Fantasy, and he adored it. And I was like, that's how it's meant to be, and that's fantastic. And like even the like 7 remake, I didn't really click with and everything.
Yeah.
I could see why, and I'm gonna give Rebirth a go for next year. But yeah, these newish iterations aren't really clicking for me, sadly. But yeah, for everyone who does click with, fantastic.
Yeah,
it's always great to shout out.
There's Rebirths coming out like less than a year from now, right? Like so, like I'm fine. And even if I'm not, like, there's plenty of games. Like even if I wasn't like a fan of like you, even if the newer ones weren't doing it for me. Because I like 15 just fine. And 7 remake, obviously. Fucking loved it. But like even if like that wasn't the case, like there's other games that have taken up the mantle of classic Final Fantasies. Or like this JRPG series that have like stuck to that sort of more traditional kind of like gameplay and storytelling elements, you know what I mean? Like we're getting we're getting a Star Ocean remake of a PS1 game later in the year that would scratch that itch if I was longing for that itch to be scratched. So that's the good thing about gaming being so diverse now in terms of like Final Fantasy 16 can be this type of game, and it's not for me clearly, but there are other games that I can play. Like June. Before I started playing Dave the Diver, June was making me seriously question if I just didn't like video games anymore. Because, like, obviously, the big releases: Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16. Obviously, I don't play Street Fighter because I don't play fighting games. And like, we sat down to play Diablo 4, and I was like, "This is fine," but if I wasn't playing with Moody, I would have dipped a long time ago. And then I played Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, I don't like this. So I was like seriously questioning, do I even like video games anymore? Because these are the video games people like. And then Dave the Diver happened, and I started playing. I was like, I do still like video games.
It sounds like you don't like many AAA video games anymore.
I like AAA video games just fine. Zelda's my favorite game of the year.
Yeah, but June, you just named off AAA games. Nothing but AAA
well, this
games,
is the thing,
Amy.
because like those were the 3 games, right? That everybody was like, "This June's going to be amazing because of these games." And even I was upset. I was like, "Yeah, we're getting Final Fantasy, and I'm going to try my first Diablo." And I just came out of it going, "Oh no."
Yeah,
I didn't like
I can appreciate that.
But no, like Dead Island 2, I talked about that last week as well. Like, you know, I do like AAA games. I don't know. It was a strange moment in time, June, for me.
I can believe that. Well, you know what wasn't a strange moment in time for me, Amy? Was Aliens Dark Descent.
Respect.
We'll go straight to OpenCritic first. Aliens Dark Descent was developed by Tindalus Interactive and is on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox. The Xboxes, the whole shebang.
The PlayStations and the Xboxes, that's what you should say.
Yeah, the PlayStations and the Xboxes, yes. Its OpenCritic rating is a top critic average of 75, with the critics' recommendation of a 65%. High scores are from IGN, 7 out of 10. PC Gamer, 84 out of 100. Why can't they just all have the same fucking score, man? It ain't hard. Games Radar, 3.5 out of 5. Metro Game Central, 7 out of 10. Game Informer, 8 out of 10. One of the lowest ones, Eurogamer, 3 out of 5. And GameSpot, 6 out of 10 out of 67 reviews so far. So my review of Aliens Dark Descent. An atmospheric journey into the fear and survival in the heart of the alien universe. Aliens Dark Descent offers an intense and atmospheric experience that fans of the Alien franchise will appreciate. The game successfully captures the eerie ambience of the movies, immersing players in a suspenseful and hostile alien-infested environment. The graphics and sound design are commendable, contributing to the game's overall atmosphere. The dark and claustrophobic corridors, along with the unsettling alien noises, create a sense of tension and fear. The visuals do justice to the iconic alien creatures, with their detail and menacing appearances. The gameplay mechanics, while generally solid, could benefit from some improvements. The controls can feel clunky and unresponsive at times, which can be frustrating during intense encounters. Additionally, the level designs can be repetitive. with limited variations in objectives and environments, leading to a sense of boredom over time. The narrative of Aliens Dark Descent can be engaging, weaving a story that ties into the larger Alien universe. Players will uncover secrets and face the horrors lurking within the game's world. However, the pacing could be better, as certain sections feel overly drawn out, while others feel rushed. One notable downside is the presence of performance issues that hindered my overall experience. Frame rate drops, occasional lag, texture pop-ins can disrupt the otherwise gripping atmosphere. These technical shortcomings can distract from the immersion and break the tension, dampening the overall impact of the game. Unfortunately, through my playthrough, I was also marred by a hard crash, which occurred during a critical moment.
Oh no!
I was fighting the big old queen.
Oh, was that the final boss? Oh.
No, you actually faced her a few times. This unexpected interruption not only disrupted the flow of the game, but also caused frustration due to loss in progression. Such instances of stability can greatly diminish the enjoyment and undermine the player's investment in the experience. On the positive side, the game offers a good challenge. The AI of the alien adversaries is intelligent and unpredictable. Gearbox, you should take note. Keeping players on their toes throughout. The sense of vulnerability and the need for resource management adds a depth to the gameplay. In conclusion, Aliens Dark Descent is a decent addition to the Alien video game series, delivering a spooky and immersive experience. While it has some flaws in terms of controls, level design, and pacing, it still manages to capture the essence of the franchise and offer an engaging gameplay for fans of the Alien universe. With a few refinements, it has the potential to become even more compelling and memorable experience. I will give this overall a 3 out of 5.
It's just as good as Final Fantasy XVI.
Just as good as Final Fantasy 16, indeed.
In
Alien fan, I ate this game up. I won't deny that. I will say this as a caveat. I have not finished this game yet, but I'm just pottering it on. It's a game I'm going to be going back to throughout the year and everything. But I've played enough where I'm like, I can give a decent thing. And I don't give a flying hoot about spoilers. So I literally had a look at the story online and I was like, it went where I thought it was going to go, except this one little thing at the end. I was thinking, no, what the fuck are you? I was like, what? What are you? What are you? And everything like that. But other than that, yeah, it's I'll say this right now. If you're an Alien fan or anything like that, this will be a banging game for you. You'll have a lot of fun with it. I was hoping for a lot more XCOM-ishness to it. It's basically just you take a team and you go into levels, do what you need to do, and leave.
Okay, so it's
a
linear story-based missions as opposed to like an XCOM type thing where it's like aliens and you go send your team in. And do you do like any? You don't do any like base management stuff around it?
No, I was hoping for. There is a tiniest of elements, and basically the base thingy is you go out to a mission, you find resources, you bring it back, and basically things happen automatically.
Okay,
you can get extra. Like weapons for your Marines to go out and everything. If you lose a Marine, the fucker's dead. You can't bring him back and everything. But there's also very much a lack of explanations in the game. Of like, I didn't realize there was one part in the game, parts in the game that you can, because if you've seen the film Aliens, you know the Marines have a gun that you can seal doors and everything. And I knew you could seal doors, weld doors in there. I didn't realize if it's just one room and it's only one way in and one way out, you can seal it and you can rest your team. I didn't know that for a while. That could have been very handy if I knew that. The game never tells you that. Doesn't tell you that one fucking bit, which is really annoying. Okay. But I found that out later on into my playthrough.
Love when stuff like that.
Yeah. Didn't enjoy my experience on console. Felt very clunky because I did.
You've actually played this on PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, PC is better.
That makes sense.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The controller is just stiff.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow, very unresponsive. Even though can be sometimes unresponsive with mouse and keyboard and everything, it's a lot more faster and cleaner and smoother with mouse and keyboard compared to controller. I know all the PC fanboys out there going, "Well, I told you so," everything like that. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, I like controller. Okay. And yeah, so I stopped playing it on PlayStation and I bought it on PC, and it for the price and everything, it's a 10 out of 10 for the price. Every night it was like 30 quid. So I was thinking, that's not bad.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad you're having a good time with it. So my first question, potentially my only question, is going to be useless to everybody listening to this podcast because I'm going to say, Rudy, I have the option to download this game.
Yes, you do.
Should I download this game?
I would love to hear what your thoughts are of it. So I'm going to say for you, yes.
Okay.
I want to hear. I want to know what you think of this. I want to hear. I want to see because, like I said in the review, it is atmospheric as hell, and they nail that brilliantly. And like I felt like because I'm a fool and I love aliens that much. When I was playing it on console, because I even texted you saying I've just had a fucking jump scare.
You said,
and I feel like that. I had the lights off and everything
from a strategy game. Yeah.
Yeah. From a strategy game. I was like, what the hell?
No, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, what if you nail the atmosphere and you're making an aliens game and you nail the atmosphere, you're 50% of the way there already.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Like, that's one of the reasons isolation is so good, because it nails the atmosphere so much you don't see the bloody alien for 3 hours, but you still shit yourself every time you walk around a corner.
Yeah. And even though, and then when he's there, it goes to 11.
Oh my fucking god! Yeah, I'm having flashbacks as we talk about it. That's cool. That's interesting. I know. I like that. Like, it's a shame what you're saying about not being like you wished it would be more XCOM like, because like we were just talking about like games that scratch itches in the previous like review, and it's like I really need a game that scratches that XCOM itch right now. I haven't scratched that itch for a long time, and I would like to. Yeah. And then like an aliens themed XCOM game would have been cool, but it sounds like it's still a good game.
It's an enjoyable game. It's a fun game. There's no doubt about it. It's a game that I'll go back to. It's kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh for me. I'll go back to it not even from time to time. I'll go back to it a lot.
You go back to
but it scratches an itch. And I think Aliens Dark Descent is going to be a game that scratches an itch for me. Cool. If I hear in a few years' time there's a sequel coming, fantastic. But add in elements of like resource management, at creating a base and doing all that stuff. Yeah, that will be absolutely brilliant. And actually giving your squad all the squad you can get from the game. Give them some personalities, because there wasn't much more personalities to them and everything. They were just literally fodder to go in. But like
they were just box.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But there was parts of the game like where you literally your commander literally says, a horde wave is coming for you. And I was like, wait, what? And I was just like, okay, there's one way in, there's one way out. Okay, I'm putting all my turrets, they are aiming at this door. I'm putting all my characters behind this, they are aiming at this door. And we are firing everything we have. Something like that. Yeah, it's really, really kind of...
That's cool. Sounds like you're going to treat it like I'm treating Zelda, where it's just like I just sit down and if every now and again I just feel the urge, I pick my Switch up and I just blast around Hyrule for a few hours.
Yeah. I need to get to Zelda though.
Well, you've got time, because like I told you a couple of weeks ago, like my intention is not to review the game until the end of the year, because I want to. I'm giving myself the year to play it, because it's just that fucking big of a game, and I want to take my time and enjoy it.
I've only got 6 months left of the year.
And there's a fuck ton of games coming out. But that's cool. That's cool. Like you've made me like, because this wasn't on my radar at all. Yeah. But you've made me want to at least give it a shot. And that's good. So like, I would like to give this a shot.
I think you will have probably the same things of me, like where you'd be like, great atmosphere, turn-based, good overall turn-based combat, but could we have not had that little more XCOM-ish itch for us and everything? Yeah. But overall, a decent game. I had a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
And that's the important thing. Did you enjoy it? Then that's great. I love the fact that you landed on 3 for Aliens and you're like, yeah, I enjoyed it. And I landed on 3 for Final Fantasy, and I was like, it was like It was tired. It was exhausting.
Yeah. That is true.
The 3 was for the combat. It would have been a 2 otherwise. Some of the boss fights are some of the best boss fights in the series. But that's cool. I like it when I get to talk to you and you just like, I'm enjoying a game. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's what I like to talk about.
I love hearing when you're talking about a game and you're enjoying it and everything.
Sure, should we move on to the next game? Is that a good segue?
Let's move on to the next game. AEW Fight Forever. Oh, wait a minute. I got to get things up for this.
I only have one question about this game.
AEW Fight Forever is been developed by Yux and published by THQ Nordic and All Elite Wrestling. It is on everything. The PlayStations, the Xboxes, the PCs, and the Switches. It is on everything. Right now, its top critic average is at 65, with a critic's recommendation of 33%. The highest scores is God is a Geek 7 out of 10, IGN 6, Metro Game Central 6, Games Radar Plus 3.5, Daily Mirror 3. Daily Mirror's on this. and
you might want to like adjust your users giving it the top reviews because there's some fucking random shit in there on OpenCritic.
Oh hell yeah! I'm just going off literally what's on the page at the beginning. So yeah, and everything like that.
I used to be on OpenCritic, you know.
Did you?
Yeah, when I did written scored reviews.
Nice. We should come back to this. That's we're writing shit up. Let's do it.
Maybe.
Let's influence it all. Let's lower the score of Zelda. I mean, of Final
I can't
Fantasy.
lower the score of Zelda.
Well, Amy, I can lower the score of this game. AEW Fight Forever, a lackluster execution falls short of expectations. AEW Fight Forever had the potential to be an exciting addition to the world of wrestling video games, but unfortunately, it fails to deliver on multiple fronts. I want to be very specific what I say here. To anyone who literally say, I don't give a fuck about your review, I'll even be more honest with you here. I've played 3 hours of this game. And I wanted to review it really fast after those 3 hours.
You did. It came out of nowhere. Because you just text me at one point and it was like, I've got 2 games to review. And I was like, we must be finished. You must be ready to review Diablo. And then you were like, AEW. And I was like, interesting, because I didn't even know you were playing that.
Yep. But before I get further into my review, AEW was the wrestling promotion that brought me back to wrestling. And it's also the one that's basically pushed me away back from wrestling.
Well, it's like a roller coaster.
It is a real roller coaster with the company in general. But either way, back to the review. While the game incorporates the popular AEW brand and features some recognizable wrestlers, it falls short in several key areas. First and foremost, the gameplay mechanics are clunky and unpolished. Moves lack fluidity, and the controls feel unresponsive, making it difficult to execute satisfying and precise actions in the ring. The overall pacing of the matches feels off. The lack of depth of move sets and strategy hampers the gameplay experience. It quickly becomes repetitive and fails to capture the experience and the excitement and the variety that one would expect from a wrestling game. Visuals, AEW Fight Forever is underwhelming. The graphics appear dated and lack the level of detail and realism seen in other modern wrestling titles. I'm not going to WWE don't do that great either. I'm not going to lie. Character models lack the necessary polish. The animations often look stiff and unnatural. The lack of attention to detail in the presentation diminishes the immersion and fails to capture the essence of the AEW product. Furthermore, the game's content and features are limited. The roster, while featuring some prevalent AEW wrestlers, feels sporadic compared to other wrestling games on the market. The absence of a compelling career mode or an in-depth single-player experience is disappointing. The overall lack of innovation and creativity in the game modes and customization options leaves players craving for a more meaningful content. On the positive side, the game does offer a decent selection of match types and online multiplayer functionality. I got my ass kicked. Engaging in matches with friends or other players can provide some enjoyable moments. Again, I got my ass kicked. But even those positives are overshadowed by the game's numerous shortcomings. In conclusion, AEW Fight Forever fails to live up to expectations as a compelling wrestling video game. With clunky gameplay mechanics, lackluster visuals, limited content, and a lack of innovation, it struggles to hold the interest of players for an extended period. While it may appeal to die-hard AEW fans or heck, even wrestling fans and give that wrestling fix, it falls short on providing a satisfying and an enjoyable gaming experience for a broader audience. I give this a 2 out of 5.
Oh no! I need to put my editor hat on for a second and go. You had the so you had the perfect opportunity to end that review with going, like, it's doing your thing, being like, AEW, it's really disappointing, and I will not be fighting forever. Edit hat off. That sucks because I know you like wrestling and I know you like it. I know about you like AEW, bringing you back in and stuff. Like, I don't understand anything you say about wrestling, but I do listen.
Fair. I know there was I was so hyped with how everything was going with AEW and everything that I was literally trying, like, you and me and Phil to go to Phil's and watch one of their pay-per-views because I was literally like, this is going to be brilliant. Amy, even though you don't understand it, I think you'll still have a lot of fun just seeing the beefiness slapping beefiness. Well,
yeah. So my one question about this, because then again, know nothing about wrestling, but my one question about this might give you an avenue to get me into watching wrestling. Because my one question about this game is Rhea Ripley in it?
No, she is WWE.
Okay, never mind then.
I'm really sorry.
That's fine. No, it just means I'm not going to play it.
That's fair.
My follow-up question would have been, can I get dominated by Rhea Ripley? And then he would have said yes, and I would have been like, cool, I'm going to buy it.
You probably can in WWE.
Cool. Is WWE out yet?
Yeah, it came out earlier this year.
Excuse me a second.
I am now renting WWE.
I'm now renting WWE.
Who would have thought that? No, yeah, it's... I'm so disappointed in this game.
That sucks.
Like, but the warnings were right off the bat. Like, when you first saw the gameplay, I was thinking, I won't lie, at the time I was like, it's early gameplay, you can see it is. But then when you see the trailers now, it's thinking, what's been improved?
Yeah, it's like, okay, it was early, sure, but like, it's still the same. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like,
they were going for the old model of one incredibly successful, popular wrestling game called No Mercy. I think it was the 90s or early 2000s when it came out. That style of gameplay and everything like that. There's a difference. The fucking game has a story mode and a compellingness to it at the same time, and it was fun. This was not fun.
I'm sorry to hear that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like, you do kind of like when we're not, because we're not capital G gamers who whinge about everything. It's like when we play a demo or we see a trailer and like something looks a bit off. Like you do just kind of have that thing in your head that goes, yeah, but it's early. Like, because you have to give them leniency because like that's how video games work. But like it sucks to hear that like it seems like the game that you got was the game that you saw in a trailer, which I know that's a weird thing to say. It's like you got the game that they were advertising, but like no, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry this happened to you. I wish this game had been better for you.
Sucks. Like I said, I played 3 hours and I was just like, I'm out. I am out.
You tapped out. Is that a wrestling thing?
I tapped out. It submitted me into submission and I tapped right the hell out.
Damn.
Like, I was just hoping to like delve like hours of this, and when by the end of it, I was just like, after 3 hours, I was like, I'm out. I'm out.
That sounds like a shorter version of what happened to me with Final Fantasy. I was like, I'm ready to fucking lose myself in a Final Fantasy game. And then I had that moment I remember having a similar moment when I was watching Rise of Skywalker. Partway through, I went, uh-oh. I don't like this. Yeah. I hope the next wrestling game you get is good, because I don't think wrestling fans have been served very well by video games recently. If I've been like reading the
WWE, they were very that for me. Yeah, for me, wrestling fans are an easy bunch to please, though. they're very forgiving when it comes to good games and everything. Unless like that one, what was that in 2020?
Yeah, the one that was busted up.
Completely was busted.
The one that I know about.
Yeah, and then they took 2021 off and then brought 2022 out. I played 2022 when I was working for PlayStation, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's good," and everything like that. Yeah, it's better in 2020. The bar's not. It still isn't fucking high, you muppets. And I was like, they're just easy to please. And I know I'm just like, so it's subjectivity. And thinking, yeah, but I still want to have a great video game, and we haven't had a great wrestling video game for fucking years.
That sucks.
That sucks. But shit happens. Let's move on to Indie Game of the Week.
Indie Game of the Week. I'm trying a jingle this week.
Go for it.
I don't know why. So Indie Game of the Week this week. This is something we do every week where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game. This week's I saw it yesterday. It came up on my social media timeline, and I was like, this looks cool. And when I say this looks cool, it becomes an indie game of the week. It's Abandonware, the horror collection. I just realized I didn't actually paste the description. I pasted the link twice because I'm good at technology.
It's a horror game.
It's a lo-fi collection of horror mini games. So essentially, it's like it's very retro aesthetic-y, which I always love in horror. Like I love the movement of there's a lot of horror games that try to emulate the PS1 era like graphics.
Yeah,
and like there's just something inherently spooky about lo-fi graphics. So like they translate really well into horror, but it's a collection of mini games, but like the mini games are all separate and distinct from each other, so there'll be a lot of different types of mechanics and interactions. But like they weave together into like one meta narrative.
Yeah.
And that seems really interesting to me. And I'm gonna keep an eye on this. It's coming soon to Steam Early Access, being developed by Fossil Games, published by Hound Picked Games. There's a link in the description. Click that link. Hit wishlist, because wishlisting really helps developers.
It really, really does.
And you get an email when the game comes out.
You really, really do.
And those emails can be really helpful sometimes.
Especially when you're thinking, I don't have anything to play. Ding dong!
Ding dong! Hello, I've got a brand new game for you.
And then you go, oh no, money.
Shit. Moody.
Credit card it is.
Do you want to go half a certain game, Moody? Oh, you've already bought it? Cool. That's good. Now I know what to play. Now I don't have to force myself to play Final Fantasy 16 for another week. Abandonware, the horror collection. It looks interesting. It looks cool. So it's an indie game of the week. So that is halftime, I believe.
It's halftime show. It's time for us to go off and go and get a drink.
Go and get our refills and do all the other things that we do.
That is true.
Let's go.
Do a little dance. I
was like, is he implying what we do in the break? Is like, I know you usually take a few minutes, Moody, but damn.
It's my secret, Amy. I only take a couple of minutes.
I knew it was coming, and I still.
Peace
Half
out,
time.
motherfuckers.
Moody's just showing off his massive jug.
I need water. Those couple of minutes took its toll on me.
Woof. It's hard work walking from here to the kitchen, back again. Oh, tell you. My mom just had Chinese. So downstairs smelled like Chinese. And I'm like, well, I was going to cook some chicken after this. But if we finish early enough, the Chinese might still be open.
Why don't you order while we're recording?
Because knowing my luck, it'll get here super fast. But also, like, I had fish and chips before. If I eat Chinese tonight, my fucking stomach will just explode. tomorrow morning.
I mean, yeah, you're going on a 10-mile run tomorrow. Right?
I'll be trying to get up like I said, super early tomorrow, and I'll just be like, ah. It'll be even harder.
Moody's and Sophia's.
I never felt like this in the morning. I was sat at your table like this, knife and fork going.
What is it today? I wonder. Let's go into Moody's time to shine. I really need to think of a different name for that.
Never.
Let's start dumb, Amy. Skullgirls is getting review bombed.
I was going to say, this week there were multiple ways that I could have gone. Normally when you say, let's learn something dumb, there's usually the one dumb story I put in. This week there's more than one. Yeah, this is Skullgirls. It's getting review bombed because the devs removed some Nazi stuff and some underage sexualization. So, as the story goes, the devs of Skullgirls went back to update the game to correct elements that they said were in poor taste. I have a quote here from the game's director, Charlie Price. He said, quote, "As we look ahead to the future of Skullgirls, we've reflected upon past decisions regarding certain content that has undermined the many things that make Skullgirls truly unique and special. We've decided to make some changes to certain legacy content in the spirit of better reflecting our values and our broad vision for Skullgirls moving forward," end quote. The key change was they removed some references to real-life hate groups, including the red armbands that were reminiscent of Nazis. And the artwork was also toned down to make some characters' depictions less sexualized or exploitative, including, quote, "a few depictions of unwanted predatory behavior, particularly towards younger characters," end quote. Moody, how do you think the gamers reacted to this completely normal thing for someone to do?
Oh, completely normal. I mean, they praised them. They sent them flowers
They were like, yes,
bundles of joy and everything.
They said, yes, maybe we should have less Nazis and less sexualized children in our games. No, they didn't. They went fucking berserk. And the game is currently getting review bombed on Steam. The recent reviews on Steam are now mostly negative. I found 2 quotes from Steam reviews that I put in the doc. The first one, quote, "Anything that starts to become woke deserves to die," end quote. And the second one, quote, "Literally 1984, end quote. And to that reviewer who left the literally 1984 quote, I beg you to actually read 1984. Because I guarantee you haven't read it. Yeah, it was the usual response to this kind of thing. And
children be children.
It just, I mean, you know what's sad though, Mooney? You know it's not children.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah. I know that.
It just makes
children, I mean the adults are being childish.
It just makes it so sad when you think these people are probably like our age. And like, that's just a depressing thought. But also, you can turn it into a positive, uplifting thought because you can go, God damn, I'm glad I didn't end up like that.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
How dare you censor the panty shots of the children in my video game? That kind of thing. I tried to do that thing where, you make your voice go, brrr, but I couldn't shake my head very hard without the headphones coming off. So I don't think it worked.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit
like that.
That's a little better. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, it's just one of those things at the end of the day. I feel for the team who's put the hard work to change this and everything. While I would have to question them a little bit for putting the stuff in the game anyway from the beginning. I
don't know how much of the team that works on Skullgirls now is the team that worked on Skullgirls 10 years ago. Like the stuff that they've removed is kind of like, because again, the game came out must have been 2013 around about, and like, the stuff that they've removed is definitely bad. Like, it's definitely stuff that you would just be like, why is this in a game? But it definitely does lean into those anime tropes that, the game was going for. The game was going for that. And, like, the artwork is beautiful. Like, from Skullgirls. Like, there's no denying it. Again, it's a fighting game. Some have played it. But Like, good on them for like recognizing that, because that's the cool thing in it. It's like growth. It's like, oh, this thing we put in our game wasn't cool. Let's take it out. Okay, cool. Like, that's all you really want sometimes.
Yeah, true. There's no doubt about it. And like, idiots are going to be idiots. But yeah, well, fair play to the developer. I hope whatever they're working on next, will be something good.
I mean, it sounds like they're working on more Skullgirls.
Probably, yeah.
And I can't wait to see their sales figures for Skullgirls 2 not be impacted in the slightest by this.
create a character that has literally carries a flag, go woke or broken.
No. Create a character, right? And when she walks into the ring, she's waving some sort of pride flag, and then she's wearing booty shorts, right? And you know how you can get booty shorts with stuff printed on them, and it just says "woke" on the booty shorts.
That'd be funny.
And you can license that for free, Skullgirls developers. Like, I don't want any royalties for that. That's fine. I waive my right to to any sort of compensation for that idea.
Let's move on to something you're a massive advocate for, and that is NoClip is attempting to preserve a massive chunk of gaming history.
I am a massive advocate for gaming history and NoClip. Go subscribe to the NoClip YouTube channel. It's fucking amazing. Disclosure, I'm also a Patreon of the NoClip YouTube channel. I've got early access to their document.
You're corporate shrill.
I am. I've got early access to their Immortality documentary, and I'm going to watch it right after we finish recording this podcast because it's one of my favorite games. Game of the year last year. So NoClip put out a video either earlier this week or last week. I can't specifically remember because time is meaningless. So what they've done is they've saved a large collection of what they call lost gaming history, which it turns out is just boxes upon boxes of tapes, which contain never-before-seen footage of just gaming stuff that's never been preserved online. Like, the boxes were about to go to a landfill before NoClip stepped in. So what the company's doing is they're going through the tapes, which could take years, and they're digitizing anything with historical value and preserving it on a separate YouTube channel and also at the Internet Archive. So some of this, they've already uploaded some stuff that they've found, which includes a never-before-seen behind-closed-doors demo of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic from before the game was even announced, a 2007 studio tour of Infinity Ward when they were making Call of Duty Modern Warfare the first time, a GameCube tech demo from Nintendo Space World 2000. Nintendo Space World is something I haven't thought about for a very long time. And a high-quality version of Microsoft's 2009 E3 press conference. And you might think, why would I want to watch Microsoft's 2009 E3 press conference? And the answer is, because it's fucking amazing, because it's where they announced the Kinect, and it's so fucking awkward.
Oh, no.
It's like the last 20 or 30 minutes of this press conference is them just awkwardly trying to show off the Kinect as being this amazing new thing. And it's Don Matrick. It's so good.
Oh no. I'll have to have a look. I'll resubscribe to them.
Yeah, they're not putting it on their main channel for obvious reasons. But
that's fine.
Yeah, it's on one of their channels. They've got 4 channels now.
Yeah. No, when they drop a video, I'm always, even if I'm not subscribed to them, I always check them out because they always just drop good things. So it's always nice to learn about things and everything from the history of video games and everything, especially if you just wanting to learn and everything. And they do a good job on that. When you heard when they what's his name? Danny
O'Dwyer.
Danny O'Dwyer, thank you. After he left GameSpot, he was the face of GameSpot, just kind of like Greg Miller was the face of IGN for a while. He left and they, instead of doing what everyone else basically did, just go off and to create their own company and did I'm just gonna be
GameSpot, but my own version of GameSpot. He was like, I'm gonna make video game documentaries, and I can vividly remember I watched his announcement trailer for it, And I was like, I don't know about this. You know what I mean? Like, because like, if you can do documentaries can be amazing, but if you do documentaries wrong, they're just really fucking bad. So I was like, I don't know about this one, Chief. And then like his first documentary was Rocket League, and it was like that was good. That was actually quite good. And then his second documentary was Doom, and his Doom documentary is incredible.
I really liked the Telltale one.
Yeah, the Telltale one was good.
Yeah, literally, like I think a ton of people literally messaged him and said, "We need to know what the hell happened." And I think he replied to a lot of them. I think I messaged him one of them, and he replied saying, "We're on it."
Yeah, he's good. He's good with shit
amazing.
like that.
Yeah.
Like I watched a couple of NoClip videos last week that I hadn't seen before, and it's funny because like they're both games that I've never played. But I sat down and watched documentaries about them, and I was like, "This is really good." I watched the Choo Choo Charles one. Which was just really fascinating, and that's a really nice video. Like, despite like the fact that it's the Spider Train game, it was a really nice story. And the other one was I watched this Age of Empires documentary, and again, I've never played Age of Empires, but I was like fucking fascinated by I was fascinated by the story behind like Age of Empires and Age of Empires coming back, and like he makes his documentaries in a way that like they're interesting even if you've never played the game.
Yeah. Like I'm going through the archive right now on videos of their channel. Like I'll shout out the Alien Isolation one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm screaming for an Alien Isolation 2, please, for God's sakes. Give us it, please. We are begging for that. I want to go back.
Yeah, you made a documentary about the Forgotten City, which the story behind the game is really good. Like, the game's phenomenal. I love the game so much, but the story behind the game, because it was made by a guy who was a lawyer, like a really like high-powered, like full-time lawyer, and the story behind how he ended up making a video game is just fucking great. The Astroneer documentary is the same. The story behind the game is really good.
The history of like creative assembly in general is really good. I watched the whole of that, but like, what I liked even more, but what made me think, oh God, are we actually going to get any Alien Isolation? Because they cut the Alien Isolation part out and put it in a separate video as well. And I was like, don't do this to me.
No, don't give me hope.
Yeah, but that's now 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now,
hey,
they could be in development for it. They could have literally said, we're developing number 2 now. Don't say anything, or yada yada yada. Please.
You heard Matt Booty.
Sign all the NDAs. Matt Booty.
You heard Matt Booty a couple of weeks ago. Video games take 5 or 6 years to make these days.
Yeah, so we're halfway through its life
cycle now. So you know, what I'm saying is there's a chance.
Like I even liked when they did the Bethesda documentary.
It was interesting to see like the inner workings of Bethesda, right? And like how they went from, because it was basically just essentially charting the history of like mostly just the Elder Scrolls series. And again, it's fascinating because the stories behind how video games get made are fascinating, and like no two stories ever the same.
Yeah.
And you can just it's great. Like I could think of the Arcane documentary. The history of Arcane Studios was really, really fascinating, especially all the games that they worked on that got cancelled, all basically one after the other.
Yeah. It was all. They do good shit.
They do good shit, and this is good shit too.
Yeah, we'll continue with that. What next?
Go support them if you can support them, because this is definitely a worthwhile thing.
Yeah, let's go on. Microsoft reckons the PS5 Slim is releasing later this year. I'm guessing that's come out of the...
It did. It did and it didn't. So this came out after the trial. These were new court documents that were released to the public. Obviously, Microsoft was in court last week and the week before, defending themselves against the FTC, who were trying to delay the deal for them buying out Activision Blizzard. And new court documents that were released, according to those, Microsoft believes Sony's planning to release a PS5 Slim console alongside its handheld streaming device, Project Q, later in 2023. They claim that the price for a PS5 Slim is $399.99, and the Project Q will cost less than $300. I mean, it's July. We haven't heard anything about it. So that would be an interesting move. But I can't remember how long we usually get for like mid-generation console releases in terms of like how much lead time we get.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's like Xbox revealing a big an Xbox Series S with a bigger hard drive.
That was out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. So this, if they were actually thinking that, it kind of lines up a little bit. But at the same time, you would think when PlayStation did their showcase and showed off the Project Q thing, they would have revealed the Slim.
Yeah, so, it's like here's the product, the family of products, you know. But
yeah,
maybe there's going to be another state of play or a showcase or something coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, potentially. I can't see it personally.
For this, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not. Sorry to interrupt you again. No. I'm not on the train of people who are like, oh, there'll be another showcase where they'll show all the games that we wanted them to show last time. I'm not on that train. If there is another showcase, it'll just show us the same multiplayer games, but more.
yeah, no doubt about it. If they don't do their own thing, the only thing I can think of is they're going to be at Gamescom. But haven't they said they aren't at Gamescom?
I think physically they're not at Gamescom. I don't know, like, if they're going to be a part of Open at Night Live.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But I might be completely.
Xbox is going to Gamescom.
Yeah.
And Nintendo, they were both announced today. I mean, this is PlayStation, man. They could announce. They could very well announce a PS5 Slim in a blog post.
Yeah, that's true.
They've done this before. Like,
yeah, they have. They really, really have. So we don't really know.
And I don't think a lot of people jumped on this as like, whoa, but I don't think a PS5 Slim is necessarily a big deal. You know what I mean? Like if they announced the PS6, then yeah, sure, that's a big deal. But a PS5 Slim is
apparently.
Yeah, but a PS5 Slim is just another console. It's like it's a slightly cheaper version of the one that we've got. You know?
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what it looks like because, like I've said,
I was just thinking
I love the look of the PS5.
I hate it,
but I love it. I love it. I adore it. It's a big lunk of a thing, and I'm just like, I love you.
Not from an aesthetic purpose, but from an ergonomical design purpose, I hate it.
Yeah, I love it. I adore it. Is it annoying that? Like, because you know my setup and everything like that, I can't put it in one of those squares that I have. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Shit happens. I have to put it live next to the TV and everything. That's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm moody. I've got a Master Chief Xbox, even though I don't like Halo. Sorry, I just had to get that in. It really annoys me. It just annoys me, man. Like I played all the Halo, like the mainline fucking Halo games, 1 to 4 with you, and I listened to every complaint. And then you were like, "I'm buying a Halo Xbox," and I was like, "You fucking dick."
And the Halo Elite controller.
I'm the Halo Elite controller. And then you're like, I'm giving you. Oh, do you want my Elite controller? I was like, hell yeah! And I'm keeping the Halo one. I was like, oh, of course you are.
Oh yeah, I give you my other one.
Yeah, which I put to great use. I really do. That wasn't sarcasm. As I was saying, it sounded like sarcasm. It did, didn't it? It did.
Sign saying sarcasm?
No, but with a question mark, that's on the other side of the sign. When you're not sure, you flip the sign around. No. I really do. I really do like the. I was going to call it the Pro controller, the Elite controller. I really do like it.
Yeah. The first one.
I think game controllers should just have back buttons as standard.
I never use the back buttons.
I love the back buttons.
Never did.
I take them out.
To me.
I take them out for like slow game. Like if I'm playing like say Gone Home, I'm not going to use the back buttons. But when I'm playing like action games that require, basically if I was playing like Elden Ring, because I want to have control of both the camera and all of the things that the face buttons, like I'll use the back buttons because it just gives me a better degree of control.
Yeah, I've tried it and I was just like, I don't like the feel of this.
That's fair.
We'll see.
That's fair.
Perfect Dark development tells a depressingly familiar story.
So this is probably going to require a bit of reading. 'Cause this was
A lot of bullet points.
There's a lot of bullet points, but it's one of those stories, isn't it? Yeah. This was from Rebecca Valentine, and I put in brackets, gaming's best reporter. She might be gaming's best reporter. Because all the stuff...
The only one at IGN.
Well, she's doing some fantastic work since she moved to IGN. So this is she talked to a bunch of developers from The Initiative, Certain Affinity, and Crystal Dynamics about the development of Perfect Dark, which is going super well. Now,
That's why we saw it at Microsoft Showcase.
Are we like?
Wait a minute.
How are we doing this? Am I just going to go through every bullet point, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the development of Perfect Dark was originally a team-up of The Initiative and Certain Affinity, but the developers clashed due to duplicate roles across both companies and conflicting visions. Multiple prototypes were being developed, scrapped, and started over constantly and repeatedly.
Stop there.
Yep.
I don't understand why that happens all the time. It really makes no fucking sense, especially as it's an initiative game. At the end of the day, Certain Affinity, is it?
Certain Affinity, yeah.
Affinity. You're there to help out. You're not there to they've clearly Initiative give them too much leeway. At the end of the day, Initiative should just cut the guy, whoever was in charge of Initiative. This is only my opinion here. You can put in a minute for and whatnot. Just fucking pick your lead. Pick the lead, puts the story he wants to put down. Get other people to help out with the story. That's fine. But you've got to pick a direction, and you need to just pick the way you're going. And this is what we're seeing all the time. We've seen it multiple times of fucking BioWare, which is pissing me right off right now, and other bloody places. And like that's the one thing I kinda, even though he gets too much hype and everything, but I kind of respect a little bit at Bethesda with Todd Howard. He's the visionary.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yes. Reports he can be a bit of a dickhead sometimes, or maybe a lot of the times and everything like that. But he's the visionary. When you think Hideo Kojima games, it's his vision.
Yeah. And obviously,
that's what we're going for. Yeah.
A lot of people contribute to that vision and maybe even add to it and expand on it.
Yeah.
But you need a leader. Like we've talked about, all the times we've talked about this story, with other game development, like studios, like we've always pinpointed one of the problems being poor management and
lack of leadership.
Yeah, lack of leadership, and you need those things to successfully make a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into more of the detail of it. But yeah. I mean, I broadly agree with you. Like I think part of the problem between the Initiative and Certain Affinity, and we'll get into more detail of this as we go through the story, is that the Initiative was a brand new studio with not all their staff in place when they started development of this game, which is probably why Certain Affinity were assisting on the development to begin with.
But then that lands on the sole feet of Phil Spencer, who has shown on multiple occasions over these last 6 months a lack of leadership.
Yeah, well, you are going to hear you're going to hear a few things that are going to sound very familiar from the story we read a couple of months ago about Redfall and Arcane Austin.
All right, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to let you read off the bullet points. And
you can stop me at any point, because I like this sort of back and forth we got going. So if you feel a burn need to stop me, you just stop me and we'll have a chat. Right. One source claimed there would be entirely new levels every few months. Quote, "It was not that we didn't know what we wanted, it was that we kept making things that weren't what we wanted." End quote. And another source, quote, "You'd basically get 2 or 3 people that would show something off at a show and tell, like new texture mapping or a lighting thing they did or a block out of a new level they're messing with or whatever, and then you'd get the announcement that 2 or 3 people were leaving." End quote. A polished proof of concept was put together a few months after the reveal at the Game Awards. Excuse me, I need a cough sec. Just clearing my throat, sorry.
Go for it, yeah.
During 2021, the Initiative began to bleed staff due to frustrations at a lack of vision or meaningful progress. At one point, the studio was down to around 30 employees.
Point. That's ridiculous. That's insane to think that.
Yeah.
and everything. And maybe again, it goes back to, I'm sure you get to more of the points and everything, like what I just said about Phil Spencer, a lack of leadership, because like him and his higher up teams, as he came out and says, Initiative is the first quadruple A studio.
Like,
and they've put so much fucking pressure on this one team, on a new studio that had no leadership out or inside of the studio. And it's falling apart. And so when we were talking about when Microsoft's coming up with their E3, the showcase, what we watched and everything and reviewed, we were like, they need to give us something. They need to show us a good showcase here and show us the future of Microsoft. Hopefully this all lands in the next 18 to 24 months for all those games that they've shown off and everything. And we can all come back and say, yay, well done. But this is where's the leadership? It's ultimately coming back down to that for one annoying thing for me. But go.
Yeah, no, I could tie that into the next bullet point as well, which just was entire departments were apparently empty. So like the initiative was creating this game, and it didn't have, like, there were entire departments that didn't have anyone in them. And yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like at some point, someone needs to hit a panic button. You know what I mean? Someone needs to hit the big red button to say, like, look, we need to fucking rethink what the fuck's going on here, because we don't have any staff to make this game, but we're just pretending like everything's A-okay. And it's really not. And what I think is fascinating is we speculated a lot, and Crystal Dynamics are about to enter this story, so I won't say too much on this, but we did speculate a lot about when Crystal Dynamics were announced to be brought into this. And it's because the initiative wasn't a functional developer. It turns out is the reason. So I'll keep going. One developer said they were, quote, literally doing almost nothing for 9 months, end quote, waiting for positions to be filled. Crystal Dynamics eventually replaced Certain Affinity and found the development in far worse state than they initially assumed. One Crystal Dynamics employee said, quote, a lot of the project, if not almost all of it, ended up needing to be wholly reworked. They had done 3 years of work on it already, but we didn't benefit from 3 years of work, end quote. Tensions and disagreements were cropping up between Crystal Dynamics and the initiative, similar to previous problems with Certain Affinity, disagreements and infighting between company leaders. However, these are now seemingly resolved. Development is now progressing steadily, that's a quote. The game is roughly 2 or 3 years from launch. Developers from all 3 studios noted that Xbox were remarkably hands-off with the project, not unlike Redfall.
I'll reiterate it a third time again. A lack of leadership on the outside and on the inside.
Like,
for a $2 trillion company,
when
you can't have leadership.
Like this, talking about Xbox studios having major issues with development, it's become a bit of a story arc on the Words About Games podcast.
A little bit, yeah.
And when we read the first one, it was just like, okay, it's a studio that's having issues. You know, like we've read stories like this before. And I think it was the second studio where I was just like, is this a pattern? Like, is this a pattern? Yeah. And then the third one was like, this is a pattern. And it's like, I didn't want to be right. Like, I didn't want to be right. I just wanted it to be a coincidence. This is 5 now stories about Xbox studios, and they all have common themes. And one of the main common themes is Xbox don't seem to know how to manage these studios. Like, when things are going right, you know, and everything's great, the hands-off approach works. It works really well because it gives you studios the creativity and freedom to make really cool shit, you know? Like, I'm sure Xbox are hands-off with Obsidian. That's why we get things like Pentiment. They're probably been quite hands-off with Tango. That's how Hi-Fi Rush happened. But you can't be hands-off with a studio, in this case, like The Initiative, where things are going badly wrong, because all that's going to happen is it's going to go from bad to worse. Like, we read the Redfall story a few weeks ago, and developers who worked at the studio were hoping that Microsoft was going to cancel it because it was that bad. And Microsoft just kind of went, "Cool, do what you do. We'll see you later. I'm gonna go and pick out a blazer and t-shirt combination for my next appearance." It's like, at a certain point, you've got to recognize that there's a problem and then take the steps to solve that problem. And I just want to get one more point up because I don't want to forget it. And it makes me wonder about things like Forza Motorsport has been massively delayed. Is that because there's problems at Turn 10 Studios that we don't know about? Fable has been in development for about 60 years. Is that because there's been problems with Playground Games that we haven't learned about? And are these problems in a similar vein? Like, is this something that Xbox could have gotten a tighter grip on and didn't? And it's frustrating.
When it comes to Playground, I've always stated that they are always hiring. Always hiring. And now as I look back after what we've read there, or you've read and I've listened to, it just makes me literally think, how many people have left that project and they've had to replace because of maybe of a lack of leadership, a lack of coordination, a lack of everything. It makes you think.
Fable,
it makes you think. There's no doubt about it.
Fable was announced when I was at my Xbox and Me, which, you know, if you know, that was a long time ago now. But we more or less knew it was happening well before that.
Yeah.
But what my question would be is, okay, so when did development of the current version of Fable start? Because it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
How many problems have there been? Like,
how many problems have Microsoft made because of them purchasing a company? That's another thing I would actually argue as well. Because I think, for me personally, it might be speaking out my ass here and everything like that, but I think we could have had Hellblade 2 a lot earlier if they didn't buy them.
Potentially, because it's becoming this thing where if you sit down and think about it for a while, which, you know, I do, and you do, like when we do this podcast, it's like, how many games did we see at the showcase that we just watched in June, which was a great showcase? But how many of those games did we see where it's like, we've been waiting on those for a while, or we've been waiting for those studios for a while? You know, like we saw the next game from the developers of We Happy Few. We Happy Few came out like 6 years ago. Like it was a surprise to see them.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's Microsoft necessarily creating problems by buying studios, or if Microsoft's acquisition is just exacerbating problems. Because like, if your studio's having issues and having problems, like Arcaneware with Redfall, before they were bought, like they were already having issues, and then you finally get acquired, and you've got this whole new like management thing, and there's that hope of, oh, now we've got new bosses, maybe they're going to step in and actually do something, and then they don't. They just kind of waltz in and go, hey, cool, that looks fun, vampires. Anyway, here's some money, see you later.
Again, lack of leadership. Phil Spencer showed nothing but a lack of leadership, and so is this team, which we praised for the diversity it had for it and everything. But they've shown nothing but a lack of leadership of coordinating things properly with all the studios and everything. And like, some obviously have been run reasonably well, touch wood. Like, you got Pentiment like last year, like you said, and everything. Rare seems like it's running just like TikTok all the time because they're throwing out.
So the Sea of Thieves team is absolutely running like clockwork. Like, they've got Sea of Thieves down. But they are also developing another game that was announced 3 years ago and disappeared into the void.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that game. Well, I think they did as well.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I know a lot of people can make me. I think I have to preference obviously 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, obviously
going through the pandemic and everything, and we can appreciate that. So that's obviously delayed things probably further for a lot of games and everything. But when you're hearing all of this is the 5th studio now we've heard this. That's a pattern. That's worrisome for us as people who are excited for video games and everything. It's worrisome for me. It's like thinking, fucking hell, maybe, I work for PlayStation. Should I try and go and play for work for Xbox in the future? Fuck that. I'm staying way far away from the fuckers right now. I'm going to be like, no way. Phil Spencer, have you sorted your shit out? And everything. Are you actually being a leader instead of trying to be the fans that fans want you to be and everything?
Yeah.
No, you need to be a leader. And he's shown he's a lack of leadership right now. And people may think you're being unfair, thinking, I don't care.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe we are. Yeah, sure. Like maybe it was just combinations of things like the pandemic and being acquired that's caused bumps in the road for some of these games that we're now speculating on, and maybe that is unfair to speculate on them. But at this point, where it's the where there's smoke, there's fire thing, and it's like I'm seeing a lot of smoke right now. Like and so, maybe I'm out of line. Like going, is there a fire over there? But maybe there's a fire over there.
Yeah. Kind of right now, I'm kind of liking the approach of what Sony are doing. Like they don't really speak about their video games. It may annoy the fuck out of them. May annoy the fuck out of us and everything like that. And like we didn't enjoy the last showcase they did and everything like that, but that was more because of the games they were showing and everything. They just don't speak to us in general. And obviously we're a little worried that they're focusing a lot on that, but either way. We'll hit that crossroad when we truly get to that.
It's going to be a fun couple of years.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But like Microsoft was it. Perfect Dark was it like minimum 2 to 3 years away still.
Yeah.
We've heard F all about State of Decay 3.
Good. Like after reading the studio situation, that's a good sign for me.
That's hopefully is a good sign. I'll say that. Rare again, that's what you said. I'd get like great for Sea of 3 for you, I think. Like you and me, we're gonna play the DLC when it comes out this month or next month, is it?
I think it's the end of this month.
Yeah, which we're super excited for, just to have a fun time on that. But what is the other team doing and everything like that? We know there was like you reminded me, but like they were doing another game that's gone off, that's flew away. And other studios and everything, and it's just like Redfall. if Starfield comes out and it is shit, what the hell? That'll be the crisp. That'll be the iceberg that will sink Phil Spencer.
Hopefully, it's not. If only because I know a lot of people who are really excited for Starfield, and I don't want to see the pain in their eyes that I felt when I played Redfall.
Yeah. Well, remember, the reviewers will only give it a 7 out of 10.
Of course.
Of course.
Now, yes, there was a pandemic, which fucked everyone. Making games. So and hopefully what we're seeing is just the difficulties of what happens when, maybe Microsoft have bitten off more than they can chew in terms of how many acquisitions they made at the speed that they made them. And what we're seeing is just the choppy waters of them trying to bring everything together. But the thing that keeps getting stuck in my head is just the constant repetition of Xbox was surprisingly hands off in every single one of these stories.
Yeah. That's the thing about it. Like who was the studio who did Psychonauts 2? Double Fine. Like they're the perfect studio on the part of they've got a structure. Mm-hmm. You see that. You see it all the time. They have a structure. All they needed was the backing. So I can understand, or say for you, both of us, we can understand. Just let them do what they need to do. Because they have a structure, they have a management structure and team, they have a leader who's focused. Yes, he talks to his team and say, where do you think we're going to go next and everything? But when they land on something, you can clearly see leader takes charge and boom, 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 and that's how they move forward. They're also doing other things, like they did a great showcase a couple of weeks ago and everything. But that type of thing I can understand. But clearly, Phil's too distracted by this stupid fucking Activision thing. Again, I'll state it. He's distracted by that as well. He's not doing his job properly because he's trying to get this deal through and everything. Which, if I remember rightly, they've got 10 days or something before they could be cancelled altogether.
We'll see what happens. It's a mess. But the different studios are different situations, and they're all going to need different things. And it seems like Xbox is giving every studio one thing, and that hasn't really worked very well for a lot of studios.
Yeah.
And hopefully what we saw at the showcase, what we saw from the showcase was more of a righting of the ship. It's like hopefully now like what, like it sucks for the developers of Arcane that Redfall came out the way that it did, but what I hope that we get from that is that this was a wake up call of like something has to fucking give and something needs to change, and hopefully now that Redfall has hit and it's hit really fucking hard. Hopefully that's the wake up call for them to say, shit, we need to change our approach here. We can't afford to have another Redfall.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because if they keep doing what they're doing, what's going to happen is going to be the thing that pisses both me and Amy off to the biggest degree, and that is layoffs in every studio.
Layoffs and fucking like
delays to the games and everything.
Delays to the games for other people, like terrible work conditions. Like this is the path that this could lead to if something doesn't change. And that's then you're really going to hear me go for it, as you've heard before.
And Amy will never get my Xbox then because I'll have thrown it out the fucking window.
driven past the Xbox HQ, just fucking throwing it through the window.
Hey, have this fucker back!
I'm returning this, dickhead!
Yeah.
I say at the end of the day, I always like when I think about this stuff, I always center the developers. I just want developers to be able to make cool shit that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I want them to do it safely, and I want them to work a normal, sensible amount, and I want them to get paid really well. That's it.
Yeah. And this is the thing about it. Like, Microsoft should be able to do this.
Right?
They're a $2 trillion company. They should be able to put in simple enough in every single studio that their developer that they own, put in a leadership structure, an organization structure, the whole shebang, simple enough. And that leadership structure, you can literally just state again, okay, I am the leader, but you guys are the developers. You are the heart and soul of this thing. What do you think? What have you got right now that you can show us or show me to make a decision and everything like that? Like, if you don't need that, tell me how much time do you need just go out and come back with 3 ideas with maybe 3 prototypes. If you say you need a month, I'll give you that month to go out, or if even longer. If you need 2 months, I'll give you 2 months maximum to go out, get an idea, give me give me 2, 3, all 3 of them with prototypes, and we'll have a proper discussion as a company and everything. But ultimately, I will always make the final decision because I am the head of the studio type of thing. But I truly believe that everybody in the company will stand up and go, fuck yes, let's do this. Yes, some might be disappointed to say, oh, mine wasn't picked, but it could easily say, I'm going to pick this one first, but I want to come back to this one later type of thing.
So, very quickly, to go back to talking about NoClip as well, one of their other documentaries, the Horizon documentary, what you're talking about is exactly how Horizon... what was the name of the first one? Horizon Zero Dawn actually came about because they took the time to take they opened it at so Guerrilla Games opened it up to everybody who worked at the studio to make pitches for what kind of game that they were going to make next, because they didn't want to make another first person shooter. Like, they didn't want to make another Killzone. And you know, like, and you can even do stuff like where somebody's pitch gets picked and it's like, okay, but actually something you've said in your pitch would work really well in this pitch, you know what I mean? And like, what you end up getting is, and again, I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't work in the games industry. I'm just speaking as somebody who has made creative projects in my life. What you end up getting there is you end up getting a much more engaged workforce because they're making something they want to make.
Yeah.
Like, if you pitched me something, really, like, I want to make this. Like, I'd get excited for you and do everything I can to help you because it's something that you want to make. And if it's something that you want to make, it's something that I want to make.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's like, I truly believe like that type of structure is a thing that works perfectly for me personally.
Yeah, and Microsoft has the resources to allow this. I know a lot of independent studios, obviously they can't necessarily take a lot of time to do prototypes and have this kind of stuff because they've got a runway. They can survive for a certain amount of time before they have to release a game, but Microsoft doesn't have that problem. Like they can turn around to Rare or to the Initiative and say, right, let's spend a month, 2 months, 3 months getting pitches, getting ideas together. We'll have a big meeting, everyone will be there, and then we'll see what we get out of it. Like that's how other studios have done it. I can't say which ones because I'm not allowed, but I know that's how other studios have come up with the games that they're making as well.
Yeah,
and it works. Because you end up with something that people want to make, and when creative people are passionate about the thing that they want to make, it's going to turn out really well. Or it's at the very least, it's got a much better chance of turning out really well than when you get a Redfall situation where people are making something they don't want to make.
Exactly. Let's
we've got time for
longer.
One quick one. Something we can talk about quickly. Like we do the Annapurna one if you want. So I don't think it'll take long.
That is the one I was going to finish on. So
yeah. So last week there was an Annapurna interactive showcase, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I watched it. I did what I said I was going to do last week. I watched it directly after we finished this podcast. I didn't even watch it I watched it on my phone. I was like, I want to lie down, so I just lay down and I was like, watching it on my phone.
Don't you have TV to be able to watch it?
I do. But like, I just like the vibe. I'd like, look, right, it's a whole thing with me and my brain chemistry with it. But like, I watched it and I enjoyed it.
That's good. That's the most important thing about it.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch it?
No.
You just went through Eurogamer afterwards.
Yeah. No. No. Actually, I just saw. Obviously, Annapurna came up. I went on. And they've obviously thrown all the trailers on YouTube, and I just went.
Sure.
I watch you.
Click.
Yeah, something like that. That's how I was. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some good stuff. There was some stuff that made me go, oh, okay, like to a game that I might not necessarily have gone, oh, okay, to.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere particularly you want to jump?
Well, I'll shout out the two games that obviously we're both excited for, and that was Cocoon.
Sure.
Got a release date, September 29th. Can't wait for that. And obviously, Thirsty Suitors, November 2nd.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited as well. I'd like those two games have been on our radar for a long, long time, and I'm so happy that they're coming this year and everything. And well, yeah.
And they're both coming to Game Pass.
Are they both?
Yes, they're both. There was six of the games that they announced that they talked about at the Annapurna showcase are coming to Game Pass. Like the Game Pass logo kept flashing up on the screen, and I was like, "This is great for me as a Game Pass owner. Yeah. I'm gonna get some games." But yeah, Cocoon. Obviously, we hyped up Cocoon quite a lot when we talked about E3's whatever Summer of Gaming, because we saw it there, and it's just like it's such a cool concept. And obviously Thirsty Suitors, I mean, I was excited for it since the Tribeca thing last year when we saw it, and even more excited after I played a demo of it. I knew it was coming this year because I'd seen the way that the devs were talking about it, so I was like, it's definitely coming in 2023. And I'm happy to know that I can play it in November, when they're at the beginning of November, when there are no other video games coming out.
I'll say this one, I am super excited and intrigued by Blade Runner 2020.
Blade Runner 2033. That surprised the shit out of me.
Annapurna's first self-developed game.
Mm-hmm. So they made a studio.
That's fascinating. Because I enjoy the first Blade Runner film. I enjoy it. I think it's really good. But that last one, I think is phenomenal. I absolutely adored that.
Really,
that film.
Watch that.
Yeah.
It's Denis Villeneuve and Ryan Gosling. I don't know how I haven't already watched it. I love both of those people.
It's baffling. We already said you're coming back down, so
no, I've got an idea. All right. Bet challenge. By next week's podcast, I need to have watched Blade Runner.
All right, fine.
The Blade Runner sequel,
2049.
Yeah.
2049, yeah? 2049.
Yeah. I've got credit. If it's not on a streaming platform that I own, I've got credit on my Google, so I'll just rent it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's Yeah.
I'm baffled by how I have never watched it because, like, I love Blade Runner, I love Denis Villeneuve, I love Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. It's a pretty. It was awesome. I remember seeing that in the cinema. I was just like,
I wish I'd seen it in the cinema because it does strike me as one of those kind of films. So yeah, like a few things that stuck out at me. Stray's coming to Xbox, which is cool.
I really thought that was going to come eventually. Yeah,
like a lot of people liked it, and I just never played it. The one that wasn't Thirsty Suitors and Cocoon that really stood out to me, strangely enough, was Lushfall Photography Simulator. Like, don't ask me why. Like, I just remember watching the trailer and being like, "This looks great." You just wander around and like. Yeah.
Is it an Amy Ass game?
It might be an Amy Ass game. You just wander around and take photos of hyper photorealistic, like beautiful looking landscapes. And that's it. Like it just looked amazing, and it looked like a place where if I was in real life, I would be constantly taking photos of. And I don't know, maybe at this phase of my life, a game like that just speaks to me.
Yeah.
But the other one that stuck out to me, To a T stuck out to me, but that was just because of the song. The song was incredible. And Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is the next game from the developers of Sayonara Wild Hearts, which was one of my favorite games on PS4.
Fantastic.
Boom. There was other stuff, but like I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, it looked okay. That's not fair.
Not fair at all. Amy, what is happening next week?
I don't know. I've scrolled too far. I've scrolled too far down.
You talk. I will get back. I need to go and do something.
Okie dokie. What's happening next week? Well, actually, it's not technically not happening next week. Technically, it's happening today, as in the day that this podcast goes live, which is Friday. I'm starting a new stream. On Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be streaming again. I'm aiming to go from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Streaming games that I've never played before. And what I mean by games I've never played before is old games that I've never played before. Like, because, I always play games that I've never played before. But I'm starting, and again, this is technically starting around about when the podcast usually goes live. So it's probably happening right now if you've clicked on this right away. I'm starting with Pokemon. I'm finally doing it, Moody. As I said to Vitz, I'm starting with Pokemon because A, I really like Pokemon monsters, and B, I need the meme of Amy owns tons of Pokemon merch but has never played Pokemon to end. It's time for that meme to end.
The thing is, you've played Pokemon Sword.
Right, okay. I've played Pokemon Sword for like 10 hours, really, and I wasn't really paying fucking attention. It doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I haven't fucking finished the damn game. I barely played any of the game. Right, okay. Well, we'll retitle the entire stream. Instead of Amy plays Pokemon for the first time, it'll be Amy plays Pokemon for the first time. Well, sort of. She kind of played one a few years ago for 10 hours, but she wasn't really vibing with it, and she got distracted by something else, and then she forgot to finish it, and she sent it back to Boomerang, which I'm pretty sure doesn't fit in Twitch's title. But I'll go for it and see what happens.
Just do it, yeah.
Or we just go with the simple Amy plays Pokemon for the first time.
How about, okay, I will compromise. How about Amy plays Pokemon Violet for the first time?
I'm not compromising.
Well, I am not stopping streaming tomorrow now.
You will, because I can force you. I have that power. Amy's playing Pokemon.
I have the power to change your title as well.
Right. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. When I'm announcing I'm doing a new thing, could you not argue with me? I'm doing this really cool thing. Fuck you, Amy. Thanks, Moody. I love all of the support that you give me. It's great. So yeah, I'm going to start a new stream Fridays at 6 p.m. So like if you've missed the stream that happened around about the same time this podcast went up, I'll be back at 6 p.m. next week. And if I like Pokemon Violet, I'll be playing more Pokemon Violet. I'm not I'm not going to chain myself to finishing the games that I play, because if I'm just not liking them, I'm just going to stop. Like, I'll give every game I start one stream to get me. But like, what I think people are going to be surprised by are the games that I've never played before. Like, there are some classics. We'll call them classics. Some beloved games that I've just never touched. And I think people are going to be surprised when they see what I'm playing Fridays at 6 p.m. But it starts with Pokemon, as was prophesied.
Let's just hope though you enjoy the games. That's the ultimate thing that we want to come out with here. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to enjoying them. Please, God. I can't always be a contrarian. It's not fair. It's not fair to me. I don't want to be a contrarian. It just keeps happening. What else is... Sorry, go on.
No, for me, I'm back streaming as well. It's the random. I don't know when I'll stream, but it'll happen. Sometimes I'll be on camera, sometimes I won't. If I'm off camera, that means I'm sitting on my couch, but you'll have me on mic still, playing it on the big TV and everything. But other than that, right now I'm going for Mass Effect. I'm going to play the entire trilogy. Amy doesn't like what I'm doing because I'm going full on blue. I'm going full Paragon, and Amy hates it.
I do. I just... Not just full Paragon. I just... Full either direction. Like...
Yeah.
Being consistent.
No, I need those bars to light up so I can get what I want perfectly. My brain doesn't like it. That's why I restarted twice yesterday.
Oh God, they're still alive. What did the Geth do to them?
And that's why I've literally just played the first hour of the game straight away before we started recording again.
Get yourself back to the same point. I like it.
Almost. Got to the Citadel.
There are also games coming out next week. I have pulled two out that look interesting. Oxenfree 2 is launching on PlayStation, Switch, PC, and Netflix on July 12th. No Xbox, but we're getting it on Netflix. And Exoprimal is launching on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, July 14th. It's also launching in Game Pass, and Moody is very excited. He's not editing the document at all right now.
Yeah, very excited about this game whatsoever. That didn't have
Dino Crisis
trending and at all.
It did have Dino Crisis trending
instead of this game.
People are enjoying this game. People I wouldn't expect to enjoy this game have been talking about like playing the betas or whatever, the tech tests, and saying they're coming out going, this is actually a good game. Am I going to play it? Fuck no. I've got too many games to play. But I thought it was worth mentioning that people are liking this. It might be worth checking out if it's your kind of thing. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's what's happening next week. I think Moody would literally kill me if I played this game.
I wouldn't kill you, Amy, at all.
Would you not, though? Because I feel like you might. I just saw what you typed into the doc. I think you wouldn't be happy. No, guys, I'm not playing Pokemon anymore. I'm playing Exoprimal. Dino Crisis' spiritual successor. What's that noise? Beating me with your copy of Dino Crisis.
You can see it.
You've got one. I know it's there. Let's move on to the final section of the podcast. OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie, which is a long-running JRPG series that Amy wants to get into, but there's a lot of games and it's very intimidating. Last week I tried to guess it would get an 8. I guessed it would get an 80. Moody guessed it would get an 82. And at the time of recording, Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie has an OpenCritic average of 80, which means Amy gets 2 points and puts the scores to Amy 20, Moody 12, with 2 draws. It was at 81 for a while. So when you said, oh, probably get 81, it nearly did. And then it dipped at the last minute.
Sounds about right.
This week, we're guessing the OpenCritic average of 2 games, and surprise, it's the 2 games that I mentioned in what's happening next week. So the first one we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of is Oxenfree 2. I remember liking this game more than most people when it came out.
So Oxenfree 1 has an 81 on OpenCritic.
Yeah, I gave it a 10 out of 10 because it was back when I was doing scores. I think it was like the second game I ever gave a score to. The first game was a 1 and the second game was a 10. So I really set the scale early. I didn't mean to. I didn't plan to.
What was the first game?
It was like some proto battle royale game, like before like PUBG and everything really blew up. There was this game that was on Steam. I think it was called like Down to One or something. And it was fucking awful. I don't usually like saying that about games, but Jesus. It weren't great. Oxenfree 2, I'm going to go 83 for that one. That's where I believe it will land on OpenCritic.
80.
80. Now I need you for this next one, Miriam. I'm going to need you to set aside your personal feelings for a moment. Do you want to do first on this one? Because I know you've already got something in mind for Exo Primal.
No, you can go first.
Not Dino Crisis out of 100. Fuck you, Capcom.
You can go first.
For Exo Primal, I'm going to go with 75. I'm always wary around multiplayer-based games because of server issues at launch. Especially with the game being on Game Pass, it might get hammered.
Yeah, but that's not launch. The critics are normally pretty...
It depends. It depends if they have it. Because what you can sometimes find with online games is the critics won't have it until it comes out. Sometimes.
I don't want to give a score. I'm not going to lie.
Just XX. We can skip it if you want.
No, you put it in. I argued to have him review to score more games. So it'll be unfair, it'll be hypocritical, it'll be this, oh no, let's skip this one.
It wouldn't. It really wouldn't. Mooney, for the next 6 weeks or something, we're going to be doing a lot of OpenCritic games.
Cool.
Skipping one's not really going to make a difference.
I can't go higher than 70, I'll tell you that. I'm not going higher than 70. I will go, fuck it, for the heck of it. I'll do a 69.
If you notice, I was already typing before you said, fuck it. I was like, I know what he's going to say. I've done this before. I've done this move. I know what this is all about.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for episode 359 of the Words About Games podcast. We did good. We reviewed some games. We had a nice chat. We talked about... Well, we had a nice chat, and then we had a not nice chat, and then we finished it off with a nice chat.
Yeah.
It's a good summary of the podcast. Maybe I'll just write that in the description. We reviewed some games, we had a nice chat, then we had a not nice chat, then we had a nice chat again. I could probably copy and paste that into most of the podcast descriptions.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's going to do it. Do you have any final words of anything?
Of wisdom.
Wisdom, passion, anger.
It is the end of the week. The weekend is here. So as always, everyone, have an awesome weekend. Stay safe. Tell your parents you love them. Tell your partner you love them. Tell anyone you want that you love them. Within reason. Some of you might just, no, I don't want to tell that person I love them because they don't like me. Or I just don't like them type of thing. I can understand that. But be awesome. Have a great weekend. And stay safe. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully with more news, because there wasn't much news this week.
We may do. Hey, Mooney.
Hey, Amy.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.